Hey everybody, how you doing? Good. I feel like a celebrity up here. We're kicking off day one of Ad Week in New York City. It's an exciting time. Um, First and foremost, I want to introduce Bené Eaton, CMO of Figs. Excited to talk about the Olympics and your guys' partnership. I feel like for me, selfishly, it's a variety of my favorite things: sports, Olympics, Paris, an exciting brand partnership. So we'll get into it. Quickly, I'm Miles McDonald. I lead our sales team in New York at Quantcast. We are a programmatic DSP, and I wish Bené ran this campaign with us, but we won't get off to a bad start. But Bené, would love to just hear a little bit about you and maybe your background, even kind of prior to Figs and how you got to Figs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Miles, and thank you to Brand Innovators. Really exciting to be here with you all this morning. So, as Miles mentioned, I'm Bené Eaton. I have the great fortune and honor of leading marketing for Figs. I started my career in ad agency settings, so really started on the agency side of things. Then made my way to the East Coast. I took a role at Under Armour during a really big growth phase for that brand. And worked on the global marketing team there, especially as Under Armour was scaling internationally. Then made my way to New York, and I worked at Ralph Lauren, where I led global marketing for the Polo brand. And then I was at Nike. I led Nike New York, so all marketing for Nike. And now I am at Figs. So really, really excited to be leading the efforts at Figs. We're in an incredible growth phase, and Figs really has disrupted the medical apparel industry. So super, super excited to be a part of this moment with the brand and excited to take it to the next level.
Love it. Before we get into the questions, just tell us, I think we all know what a CMO does, but what are you focused on these days at Figs? What have you been doing the past 6 months? What's coming up?
Yeah, for sure. So, just first, maybe I'll say a little bit about Figs for those that aren't familiar with the brand, and then I can speak to a little bit about how my role comes into play. So Figs really completely disrupted the healthcare apparel industry. Prior to Figs, healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses, vets, dentists, you name it, they wore scrubs, but typically they were these really boxy, itchy, scratchy pieces of apparel. Then Figs came along, and we really have disrupted the industry in two ways, or in three ways, actually. The first is our product. So we create innovative performance product that is made specifically for healthcare professionals, which we call awesome humans, because we believe that healthcare professionals are the most awesome people on the planet. They're out there saving lives, curing diseases. And so we created apparel just for that. And so all of our apparel is state-of-the-art fabrication. It has special pocketing. It has special characteristics just for medical professionals and the work that they do. So we really disrupted by creating a product that is comfortable, fashionable, and made just for them. The second thing is our DTC experience. So prior to Figs, medical professionals would either get their scrubs in a vending machine at the hospital, or they would get it in a strip mall. Like, basically, think of a place where you would go and get crutches or bedpans. That's where these doctors and nurses would go and get their uniforms for their work. And so Figs created a very seamless e-commerce platform in which healthcare professionals who have very busy lives, who work very odd shifts, can come 24/7 to the website, can seamlessly purchase their uniforms. And so we really disrupted the way in which these professionals access their uniforms. And then last but not least, which really leads to my role as the CMO, is community. I'm sure it's no secret to you all that healthcare is a very fragmented community. There's so many different types of institutions, different types of healthcare professionals, and what Figs does is we bring all of those individuals together. We celebrate them, we honor them, we tell their stories, and we really have created such a robust group of healthcare professionals that we're interacting with every single day, that we're doing activations, events with, and that we're marketing to and marketing for. And so as the CMO, I'm very much focused on that latter bucket when it comes to community. And so we have robust community relations team that I oversee. We have a network of over 400 different healthcare professionals that we're talking with all around the world every single day, activating with. We also have a number of initiatives when we think about full funnel media. That's where the Olympics campaign comes into play. And so really just focused on building the brand, speaking to our community. And of course, the Olympics campaign is really the pinnacle of that type of work. So
yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into the Olympics campaign, but I believe it's a good segue into a short video that you guys have showcasing figs.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Good. Follow my finger with your eyes.
Okay, got it.
Just relax. I'm gonna get your brace off.
Just slow, deep breath, okay?
Just gonna take a look here.
Ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, lungs and bones. Scrapes, sprays and fractured nose. Flex, bend and stretch and hold, and cracks and clicks, and we can get through
Not
this.
release it, but I want you to visualize yourself conquering the problem.
8, 9, 10, let's hit the track. Drops and gaps now
Pop the shoulder right back in.
Eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and hope. Strength, guts, brains, grit, and heart, soul and sweat and tears.
Wow. Fired up. I love that. Awesome. So let's now talk about the actual partnership. So as you said, you guys are obviously known for your healthcare apparel, and obviously this is a pretty unique and I think different partnership for you guys. Can you talk a little bit about how did this come about, and then what was that kind of strategic vision behind linking Figs with the Olympics and Team USA?
Yeah, absolutely, Miles. So how did this come about? So we have two co-founders at Figs, Heather and Trina, and Heather is our chairman of the board now. And she actually had a colleague who works for the Olympic and Paralympic Committee. They were catching up, and she basically was like, hey, does someone outfit the medical team that supports all of the Olympians? And her friend was like, I have no idea. I'm not sure. I'm going to find out. And so he went back, he spoke to a few folks at the committee, and it turned out that no one was outfitting the Team USA medical team, which is insane. And so immediately Heather and all of us were like, well, we need to change that. It turned out that there are over 250 doctors, nurses, physical therapists, and believe it or not, when they packed to go to the Olympics, they would pack their own clothes, and they would be, going to the games, and they would be serving oftentimes 24-hour shifts around the clock, servicing the athletes. And they had no one outfitting them. And so that's where Figs came in. We said we're going to change that. We said let's do a partnership and let's create apparel specifically for that community of healthcare professionals, many who, by the way, we found out are volunteers. And so let's create apparel for both the full-time healthcare professionals, the volunteers, and that's exactly what we did. And so that's where it originated, and then we set out to create the apparel for them, and then we also sold the apparel to our greater community because we knew that they all wanted to participate and show their U.S. pride during that time as well. So, yeah.
I love it. I can't believe that they didn't have someone to, and then how did, obviously maybe the healthcare community and sports fans are most likely slightly different people, right? So how did you kind of market to both and obviously make sure you're staying true to yourself, but also kind of going after those sports fans?
Yeah, I think the number one thing, a few different things. One is authenticity. You guys saw the film, which was so incredible. We filmed that at the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. That was a group of 14 real healthcare professionals that service these athletes, along with about 8 different Olympians, Paralympians, or Olympic hopefuls. So I think just being authentic in terms of how we were representing the athletes and the healthcare professionals, and we just rolled the camera and we just had them do their regular routines. And so I think just being authentic to that relationship between athletes and healthcare professionals was really, really important. I think the second thing is just tapping into the insights. If you talk to any athlete, and I especially knew this having worked at Under Armour and at Nike, they're going to say that their medical team is one of the biggest reasons why or how they can be successful. It's very rare for athletes to not, especially professional athletes, to not have undergone a number of injuries, and that's just part of that journey. And so if you ask any athlete, even LeBron James, they're going to say, my medical team is everything. I thank them, just as much, if not more, than coaches or family members. And so for us, I think just tapping into that insight and knowing that athletes and those competing really revere their healthcare and medical team was also equally important. And then the last thing I would say is, what's so cool is there's so many parallels between the healthcare community and professional athletes. Both of them go through a number of years of training to do what they do. Both groups of individuals are in high stakes situations. I would actually say for healthcare professionals, it's higher stakes because it's life or death. And so there's also just a number of very natural human truths across these two groups, athletes and healthcare professionals. And so we tapped into that as well as we were thinking about our messaging and the story that we wanted to tell.
Yep. It's very interesting. And I know we were catching up backstage, but I think when I think of the Olympics and the athletes, admittedly, I'm thinking about the athletes, right, rather than that healthcare team, and really it's kind of an extension of them for years and years and almost every day.
Yeah,
so I'm sure that was part of putting this together. So I know you guys are in the U.S. and I know you've expanded globally. So obviously the Olympics being a pretty large global event, how did this partnership help you guys kind of elevate your brand awareness beyond just that healthcare sector?
Yeah, for sure. Well, at FIGS, we look for any opportunity to invite the world and invite everyone to stand with us to celebrate, honor, and serve healthcare professionals. And so the Olympics is the biggest world stage. And so knowing that there were so many healthcare professionals that were a part of this, and knowing that already there's, a built-in audience that is really excited about our country, really excited about the athletes, really excited about the moment, we just saw it as a really natural opportunity to invite everyone to stand with us in celebrating these unique individuals. Obviously, during the pandemic, everyone stood up. They revered healthcare professionals. They said thank you. They're still there. They're still there every single day, serving, obviously, in this case, athletes, but in all facets of life. And they still, the level of work that they put towards that time is still equal to the level of work they're putting in today. And so we just saw this as a moment to be like, hey, these are incredible individuals, and they are out there doing the most incredible work. So celebrate them with us, and why not do that during such a special moment like the Olympics?
Yep, absolutely. And let's talk about the actual marketing campaign, right? So we've obviously seen the video and some of the branding, but how did that come about? What were, any innovative pieces of that marketing campaign in general?
Yeah, for sure. This was the most fun campaign to ever be a part of, honestly, in my entire career. One, we made history. Like, never before had the medical team been outfitted. So that was just so cool to be a part of a historic moment. For FIGS, I actually just joined in February of this year. So this was the biggest campaign in the history of FIGS, which was also a really exciting endeavor, just starting at the brand a few months prior. Innovative and exciting things. One, we were very intentional about the marketing efforts being both online and offline. So, of course, we had a very robust media buy, and we showcased our film, and there's a number of other pieces of content, and really were able to capture that live audience when you think about NBC and streaming and all the folks watching the games real time. But in addition to that, we did a number of really intentional offline activations. One is we hosted an incredible event here in New York City at the Washington Square Arch, which was a parallel to the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. And so we invited all healthcare professionals that are in New York, and New York is such a big space for the medical industry to join us for the opening ceremony. We had an opening ceremony viewing party, and we really created a Paris and New York type of vibe to invite all healthcare professionals, even if you weren't in Paris, to celebrate this moment, to check out the product in the capsule, and really join in on the fun from that perspective. Then in Paris, we activated in real life as well. We, of course, had the amazing opportunity to hand out our kits, our uniforms to all of the medical professionals, which was really special, and we captured content to extend that. We also had some special guests come through. So we had Snoop Dogg coming through, and he was getting his Figs kit, and he was so excited about the medical team. We had Hoda coming through, and she got her Figs jacket, and she was so excited about the medical team. And so being there on the ground was really cool and awesome to get exposure to our healthcare professionals and to the Team USA team in new and different ways. We hosted a really special event at Team USA House in Paris. So Team USA House is typically the place where athletes go when they win their gold medal to celebrate. And so for the first time ever, the medical team was invited into the space, and we did an incredible event where we thanked them for their work, and then we also had athletes thank them. So that was a really special moment for the Team USA medical team. And so we just did a number of both offline activations online as well, which was really fun. And then last but not least, I'd be remiss not to mention our Heart of the Moment initiative. I don't know if any of you guys caught it, but on NBC, we put heart rate monitors on the parents as they were watching their kids compete in the games. And so that was also a really fun thing to do to kind of capture the real-time moments. Asher Hong was one of my favorites, seeing his mom watch him compete in gymnastics, but we had that going throughout the games on NBC, which was really fun and also tied to the medical theme and community as well. So a few things. I could go on and on. It was a big campaign, but a few of my favorites.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, too. You do all this planning and marketing, et cetera, then you have some of these just organic things that are happening, like Snoop Dogg or Hoda, et cetera. So it's exciting when it all happens organically as well and isn't forced.
Yeah. It was so on the Snoop Dogg, because it's just so fun. So we gave him our Figs kit, which was so great, and he was so excited. He's like, this is awesome, medical professionals getting uniforms. A few days later, we're at the games, and we get a text, and it's like, Snoop Dogg wants the doctor socks. We were like, what? Snoop Dogg loves the doctor socks. And so we were like, we got to get him more socks. And so we quickly got socks over to his team. There were these amazing compression socks made for medical professionals who spend, long days on their feet. So obviously Snoop was everywhere. He must have been spending some long days on his feet as well, right? Like, what was he not attending? And so we quickly gave him the socks. And then that night, sure enough, he was at the U.S. basketball game, and he showed up wearing the doctor socks with his look that night. And it was really fun. And so we did a whole thing on social about it, and we called it Snoop Doc Socks. And our community really of doctors, nurses, they went crazy for that. So that was really fun.
I love it. I think it's safe to say Snoop likes to be calm and relaxed, so I'm sure he appreciated the socks. And last question for you is, what challenges do you guys face during this partnership? Obviously, it's new, it's kind of high stakes, you're obviously global, especially considering these, I guess, the scale, and any kind of key lessons you learned, things you do differently?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was that this had never been done before, both for us and the USOCP. So we were both writing the playbook as we were executing. We were like, I don't know, do they need this? What is the right type of apparel? What should we provide? How should we hand it out to them? And so I think on both sides, I think we were just being really open-minded, not afraid to try something new, take some risks, and sort of build the future. I think we would definitely do a few things different as we plan for Milan 26 and even LA 28. And I think we have a ton of learnings in terms of where and how we should engage, and even just how we create the product, how we deliver it, things like that. So excited to take those learnings into future Olympic Games. And then I think the biggest challenge as well was also the Olympics is such a cluttered space. It's really, really hard to cut through. It's really, really hard to have the message resonate. And so I think just zagging when most people zig or vice versa. I think what helped us immensely in this case is, the athlete storytelling. It's been done so much, and it starts to kind of, in some ways, can start to look the same. And so I think for us, being able to tap into the moment, but do it with a different insight and talk to a different community really helped us stand out, because there were so many people that told very similar stories, and as inspiring as they are, it's harder to remember them sometimes. And so for us, oftentimes people are like, oh yeah, you were the one, that did the medical storytelling, and that really helped us a lot in terms of cutting through such a big moment like that, where there's so many players, coming to showcase their brand.
Totally. And then before I open it for questions, what was because you were obviously there for the Olympics and Paralympics, what were your favorite events, favorite moment?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I have to say the U.S. men's basketball was pretty epic. That was a really epic game for those of you. I was there at the finals, so that was really, really cool to be there and see our healthcare team that had worked so closely with those athletes during that moment. So to see them win and then celebrate with the medical team was really, really special. Also, I think women's gymnastics was incredible. Dr. Marcy, who is Simone's doctor and the doctor of the Team USA medical team, she's one of the most incredible, brilliant minds I've ever seen. And to see the way she worked with that team and see the relationship that the U.S. women's team has with Dr. Marcy was really special. And so just being there, of course, for the events, but also seeing that special relationship, you can't beat it. So yeah, I'm jealous. You'll have to bring the random moderator to your next Olympic event. You got it, Miles. All right, I want to open to the floor for any questions.
Hi, I love the campaign. Congratulations. If you open your eyes and blink at the USOPC, it tends to cost a lot. So I'm just curious what metrics you were tracking to give you confidence that beyond the brand love that you just intuitively know you're securing with a campaign like this, that it's worth it.
Yeah, I think for us, we're really focused on building a brand for the next 100 years and building a legacy brand. And so, naturally the Olympics comes with just such huge audiences and so many people that already captured and engaged. And so for us, we were really looking at engagement. We did some brand health studies in terms of tracking brand resonance, brand awareness before and after the campaign, and really focused on how we can really focus on upper funnel and brand metrics specifically for this initiative. Obviously, we're always thinking full funnel, but for this, it was definitely looking at some of those upper funnel metrics.
I think we have time for one more.
Given the growth of leisure wear, athleisure in general, is there an opportunity for FIGS to expand? Are you guys thinking about going beyond just the medical industry?
We are acutely focused on healthcare professionals. That is our bread and butter. We believe that healthcare professionals, there's still so much we need to do in that space. And we want to be there for healthcare professionals before their shift, during their shift, after the shift. So when you talk about athleisure, certainly we want to be the apparel provider for all of their needs that spans beyond their in-uniform type of wear. But by and large, we are focused on this amazing group of awesome humans, and that's who we're serving and plan to continue to serve. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for the time, and thank you, Bené, for the conversation.
Thanks, Miles. It was great. Thank you.